Okay, we're ready to begin step 6 of the procedure. It says to dissolve the precipitate, meaning the precipitate that we got at the end of step 5, by adding 10 drops of HCl and stirring. So here's our rust-colored precipitate. We're going to find the HCl, hydrochloric acid, and add 10 drops. And then again, you can stir it or you can shake it. There's only a small amount of precipitate, and 10 drops of HCl is not a lot. In this case, this is enough to dissolve that rust-colored precipitate. It says, if after thorough stirring precipitate remains, add HCl dropwise. We don't need to do that because all of this precipitate has dissolved, and now we have this yellow-colored solution. As you continue reading, it says, at this point, if there are 2 test tubes, they may be combined, meaning if I had continued with this one from step 5, my other half, and had continued so that this test tube that I have now and this tube were identical, then I could go ahead and pour the 2 together. But I stopped with this one and just labeled it step 5, that it was not yet basic. So I can come back to this at any time if I need to. But right now this solution is enough for what I need to continue to do here in step 6. So let's continue reading. Using NaOH, make the solution basic. So again, we're going to be using some red litmus paper. To make it basic this time, instead of the ammonia water, we're using sodium hydroxide, NaOH. And we'll stir that up. Whether you have a small amount of solution or a large amount of solution, you want to make sure that you stir thoroughly from top to bottom so that the solution is uniform all the way throughout. And as I swipe it across there, that red litmus paper has turned blue, so I know that it's basic. If we continue reading, it says to add an additional 2 milliliters of NaOH. So a little less than 2 fingers width. And I can stir that up real well. So what we have now is a rust-colored precipitate. Steps 6 and 7 are a unique set of steps because they test for the possible presence of iron, and then in the next step to confirm the presence of iron. So this rust-colored precipitate indicates the possible presence of iron. There's a good possibility that we have it, but we have to continue on to step 7 to check and make sure. So to finish step 6, we're going to centrifuge and decant, setting the solution aside for procedure 8, and we'll treat the precipitate in step 7. So I'm going to get my test tube of water, an equal amount. Okay, now when this comes out, like the procedure says, that we're going to set the solution aside for procedure 8. So I'm going to go ahead and get a test tube labeled with the number 8. And I'll be pouring the solution into that test tube and setting it aside for use in just a little bit. Alright, so this rust-colored precipitate is stuck to the side wall. I'm going to carefully pour the solution into another test tube, and this is the precipitate that will be treated in step 7. That's it for step 6.